Hey boys and girls, this will be homework for week 23. The first one says Sawyer made a table to find out how much he makes at his job. And so he made the table for day one. The days are on this column, the hours worked are on the second column, and the amount earned is on the third column. So day one he earned $5. Day one, he worked 5 hours and earned $25. Day two, he worked 10 hours and earned $50, and so on. So the question says, what rule relates to the hours worked to the amount earned? So the rule would be he earns $5 for every hour that he works, because 5 times 5 is 25. So if he worked 5 hours and made $25, and he worked 10 hours and made $50, and that means 10 times 5 is 50. And then here it will be 5 times 15 is 75. So then you would just need to see 35 times 5 equals what to get you your answer for the question mark. So what rule relates to the hours worked to the amount earned? So for every 5 hours he works, he earns $5. So that's what you could write right here. So then number 2 says, how much did Sawyer earn for 35 hours of work? So you would need to see, if he worked 35 hours, how much will he have made total? And we know if he makes $5 every hour worked, and you can figure that out by just doing 35 times 5. Number 3 is an expression you have to solve. So it's 3 plus 7 times 8. Remember, primitives means you have to do parentheses, exponents, multiplication, subtraction, multiplication, division, adding and subtracting, whichever one comes first. So we see that division is here. Multiplication is here. So multiplication has to be done before you can add. So you would need to do 7 times 8 first. Then whatever you get for that, you would need to add 3 to that to get your final answer. For number 4, you would need to just solve this. So you could do this first, then do 108 divided by 4. Then you would need to add your 2 answers together to get your final answer. Alright, that's it for Monday. Tuesday says round each number to the place indicated. So you would just round 0.894 to the nearest to the nearest hundredths, because this is a decimal. These are all decimals. So if you rounded this number to the underlying place value, then this 4 would tell this 9 to rest. So this 9 would stay a 9. So my answer would just be 0.89. And then this last number would be a 0, so you don't have to put the 0. So 0.89, because you rounded to the nearest hundredth. So this 9 would just stay the same. Number 2, you would round to the nearest tenth. So you will look to your 8, and your 8 will tell your 6 to soar. So your answer for this one, you would just round this 6 up. Everything else would turn to 0, so it can just fall off. So your answer would be 5.7. So you could do the rest of them yourself. Round these 2 numbers to the place indicated and by the underlined digit. This one is 2.2 and 222 thousandths minus 1.3. So you will subtract this. Make sure you line it up correctly. Decimal needs to be lined up. This one you just multiply 65 times 42. You can set that up and do that. Number 7 is multiplication as well, but it's a decimal multiplied by a whole number. So I'll do that one for you. And then number 8, I'll go ahead and read that one. It says Camden can complete 145 math problems in 15 minutes. How many problems can he complete in 1 minute? Write answer as a mixed number. So you're going to see how many problems he can complete in 1 minute. If he completes if he can complete 145 math problems in 15 minutes. They want to know how many he can complete in 1 minute. But for the 317 times 0.11, so we got 317 times 0. You can really just pretend the decimals aren't there, and then when you get to your final answer, you could just put your 2 decimal places after your number, after your answer. So I'll show you. For this one, you would just do 7 times 1 to get 7, 1 times 1 to get 1, 3 times 1 to get 3. Hold your place, because you're going to be multiplying everything by your tens place. 7 times 1 gets you 7, 1 times 1 gets you 1, 3 times 1 gets you 3. Then for this one, it's just 0, so you're done with that. So we can go ahead and do our adding. There's going to be 7, 8, 4, 3. Your decimal would be right there, because if it's 2 places after your decimal, that's how many numbers you have to have after your answer in the decimal. And then number for Wednesday, it says Mr. Simpson mixed 1/4 liters of solution for science class. He used 2/5 of his solution. How many liters of solution did he use? So that's just a subtraction. If he used 2/5, he mixed 1/4 liters, and he used 2/5. So you have to subtract. So if he mixed 1/4 liters of solutions and he used 2/5 of that, then you have to subtract. So you're gonna first need to find a common denominator. And I hope you remember that, but if not, I'll just go ahead and do that for you just as a refresher. So we have 1/4 minus 2/5. So my LCD will be 20, because I know that I can multiply 4 by 5 to get 20. I can multiply 5 by 4 to get 20. So I have 20 here and then 20 over here. So I have to do times 5. So that's going to give me 5 up there. And I have to do times 4 over here. So that's going to give me 8. So now I would have to subtract that. Now, in order for me to subtract, I would have to borrow, because I can't do 5 minus 8. So I would need to make a whole take away from this one. So if I take, I would have to make this. I could turn this into a mixed number. Let me make sure. If I turn this into a mixed number, I could take one whole out, and that would give me 1. So that would be 20 20s taken out. So I would probably be better turning this. Trying to think of what's going to be the best way to solve this. Turning it into a... Okay, so it's asking me how many did he use. So if he used 2/5 and he started with 1/4, I need to subtract. I need to swap them around. So I would have to do 2/5 minus 2/4. Sorry. I was about to say, how can I do that? Okay, so 2/5 minus 1/4. And I need to see what the difference is, so to find out how much he actually used. So I know 20 is my denominator. I'm just going to use this and write it over. So 2/5 minus 1/4. Really, it's going to be 8/20 minus 5/20. So that's just going to give me 3/20. So he used 3/20 of his solution if he ended up with 2/5. So 3/20. Okay. Next one says, you just need to multiply 8 times 3/4. So remember, when you're multiplying a fraction, a whole number by a fraction, you can just, you don't have to have a common denominator. You can just put this over 1 if you need to, but you basically just multiplying across. 8 times 3 is 24. 1 times 4 is 4. You don't technically have to write that 1 under there. You could just do it like this. 8 times 3 is 24. And then just a 4. 4 is multiplied by nothing. So it's just, well, 1. So it's just 4. Alright, and then you do the rest of them. You're multiplying 4, 6. Oh no, this is adding. 4, 6 plus 2/3. So you need to find a common denominator. Then you have 1/3 divided by 8. So that's keep, change, flip. Remember, whenever you divide fractions, you're just basically swapping them around. So it's going to be 8 times 1/3. So you keep, change, and flip, but it's really going to be 8 times, sorry, it's going to be 1/3 over 1 times 8. So you're going to keep, change, flip. Sorry, I was right the first time. Keep. Your 1/3 stays 1/3. Your division sign turns to a multiplication sign. And your, it would have been 8 over 1, but it's instead going to be 1 over 8 because we have to flip it. Okay, so just to make sure you're good and you remember, it would have been 1/3 divided by 8 over 1, because my 8 can be over 1 and it'll still be 8. So, but whenever you divide, you're going to keep, change, flip. So you're going to keep this as 1/3. Change your division sign to a multiplication sign. You're going to flip your 8 1 to make it 1 over 8. Then you could just multiply. 1 times 1 gives you 1. 3 times 8 gives you 24. So that's how you do that. This says shade in the boxes to represent 1/2 times 1/2. So you shade in 1/2 going this way, and then you shade in 1/2 going this way. So you're going to shade half of the circle this way, and then half of the circle this way. And that's going to be 1/2 times 1/2. Okay, so that's it for Wednesday. Let's see if I can go ahead and knock out Thursday and Friday. For Thursdays, it says find the volume of the figure by counting unit cubes. What is the area of the base of the figure? So this one is 1, 2 going across, 2 going this way, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 going up. So the volume, you remember you need to do length times width times height. So you need to do this times this times this. So 2 times 2 times 5. Then for area, you need to just do length times width. So you would do 2 times 2 to get the area. Okay, and that's that one. This says Miss Leek recorded how many miles her students ran in the jogathon. Use the data she collected to complete the line plot above. So they just give you got 3/4, 1/2, 3/4, 3/4, 1/2, and 3/4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them jog 3/4 of a mile, and two of them jog 1/2 of a mile. So 1/2 would be here, 3/4 would be somewhere over here. So you would just need to put that number of X's above the line to plot your data. And this says plot the following coordinates on the grid provided. So they give you the coordinates 3, 2. So you would go ahead and plot 3, 2. So you would go 3, 2. So you go over 3, 1, 2, 3, up 2. Then for this one, 2, 1, you would go over 2, up 1, and then you would plot all of these and this one too. My time's about to run out, so I'm going to complete this. This says complete the table and then graph the data. So they give you the chart. They tell you to add 4. So you add 4 to 4 to get 8. Then you subtract 2. So you do 4 minus 2 to get your number here. And then you do the same thing, 4 plus 9 to get this number. Then 5 minus 2 to get your number here. And then whatever your coordinates are for this, you would plot it on the graph. And that is it.